Mr. Marchant.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bainick, you're a fellow Texan. Welcome to Washington. We are also privileged to be in a state that has no state income tax, which would
very much appreciated.
really complicate your business, I'm sure. I don't know about South Dakota, and no. Okay, so we've got a very privileged panel today. All come from states with no state income tax. So you can see how exasperating this would be if your businesses had another layer of tax added to it. And most of the states that are represented in Congress have that additional layer, and it makes a federal tax reform for small businesses even more important. I think Mr. Vanderwall has told us you operate as a C Corp. Do you mind telling us, the other two witnesses, how you operate?
My current business is an LLC, and I operate as an S Corp.
Okay.
We're an S Corp.
So your accountant advised you how to form those. Is there a particular reason why either of you or both of you decided on that?
When we originally started the company, we started as a C Corp because that's what the lawyer told us to do. We didn't really understand the difference, and it wasn't until we actually took the company public in '97 and then took it private again in 2001. When we took the company private again, we formed as an S Corp because at that point, we knew that was a much better tax position to be in, to establish the company that way. So we've been both, but the S Corp seems to work better.
I agree. The S Corp definitely works better for us, and we were advised by our CPA and attorney as we set it up. I actually had a bad experience with a C Corp when I purchased a distributorship, and so I also recognized that if I wanted an exit strategy, trying to sell it out, it would also make it a lot more challenging for it to be a C Corp instead of an S Corp. So I was looking at my exit as well.
So to each of the business owners, what is the single most frustrating thing that you deal with on a regular basis as it pertains to the tax code? What is the thing that drives you the craziest about the tax code?
I guess the simple question or answer would be to have to depend on other people to hope that they're right, and having to spend money not knowing if that's really going to give me a return on it because it's so challenging and difficult. And the fact that I have overpaid on taxes due to that makes it even more frustrating and scary.
So the complexity of it.
Complexity.
Mr. Van Wall.
Yes, sir. I would say, first of all, the tremendous amount of money and cash that transferring our operation from one generation to the next is going to take out of our operating fund, and also the incredible complexity of the tax code.
I think the complexity is the biggest issue. I always thought that accounting was very black and white, and it wasn't until I started dealing with the tax accountants that I found that there's this whole gray area, and it's, do you categorize it as this or do you categorize it as that? And again, when I look at my tax return for a certain certification last year, I had to be able to prove what my individual income was versus any income that my husband had on our tax return. And I had to go back to my accountant and have them do a spreadsheet, because as an S Corp, there are things like the R&D credit that ends up on my tax return. Well, I don't know if that's income or a deduction. So it's just so complicated that you can't even understand what this document is that you're signing, and you're counting on other people to put this together, and then you sign it in hopes that you don't get audited or get in trouble or have something bad happen.
And it really exasperates things when Congress has to meet every 2 years and renew certain aspects of the tax code through extenders, which this committee does not enjoy doing. It's part of. And would each of you mind telling me, this panel, who are your largest customer base? Are they big corporations? Is it other small businesses? Who do you sell most of your stuff to?
My largest customers right now are state, city, and local government agencies. So I do uniforms. So any, police officers, fire and rescue, public safety.
Ms. Fanwell.
We feed most of our corn to our cattle through our feedlot. Our soybeans go to a local processor that we are a very small part owner in, and the cattle will go to the major packers.
About 20% of our business is actually with the federal government. We have a GSA contract, so we love the fact that the government does spend some money on buying furniture. The rest of it is primarily Fortune 500 businesses.
Thank you.